feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place. I wanna be first, work till it hurts. Dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job.
How about a round of applause for these independent journalists right here? Positive for the public. So thanks for what you're doing. And we need accountability. All the government needs to be held accountable.
Hello. Good afternoon. This is Allie G, coming to you with a different sort of news story today. So, as you saw in my opener, that clip is taken from Capital Transparency's channel, is that Stephen is attempting to obtain data directly from Bob Fletcher. For those of you who do not live in the Twin Cities or do not live in Minnesota, Bob Fletcher is the Ramsey County Sheriff, which is the county in which I live, and he is mostly loved by our community and across the world, literally across the world. So he does these live on patrol videos a lot of times on Friday night with his sidekick Pat, and they just basically drive around St. Paul and other areas. They broadcast what they're doing. They show up on police calls that people are already there to assist. But mostly it is just for their banter, and then Bob is an elected official, so can figure that one out. So Capital Transparency and Bob Fletcher do not get along very well. And there's plenty of video evidence. You can look at Live on Patrol or look at Capital's channel, which I will put in the comments there. So, Stephen, Capital Transparency, is quite fond of Freedom of Information Act and pulling data and having those requests. And in the past year, as I have done my research, I have done quite a few data requests from police stations, from the state, and I just have no problem obtaining the data. A lot of times I use the contact form that will go directly to the data practices person. In some cases, I've looked up who's in charge of the data requests. I've called the court many times to ask questions. So I have never had a problem getting the data that I wanted or needed within 1 week of when I requested it. And especially the person who provided me with all of the sexual misconduct cases, I now have all of them first through, I already had the fifth, but first through fifth degree in Hennepin and Ramsey County, and I'm going through those. So Capital posted the previous video, and I saw that, and I'm like, he's not asking the right person. To obtain the data, you need to ask the right person. And so initially I emailed the law library and got the data that he was looking for in a different way. So what he was looking for was Chapter 13, policies that related to Chapter 13, which is the statute for data practices. So he was requesting data on data, and he specifically wanted the last 10 years of data policies from Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, Ramsey County. So I was able to obtain those. I'll show you that email here. So as you can see, I obtained that quite quickly. I forwarded it on to Capital. As you all know, we had a relationship for 2.5 years, and it ended quite badly 2 years ago. But earlier this month, because of some mix-up in a package fraudulently be sent to his house that I had to go pick up, we saw each other and were able to be civil. So I reached out to him and here you go, here's the data. And then he replies back, that's not the point. The point is that, I'm trying to obtain and show that they won't provide me from this data. So I did not know at the time I was doing this, but here is a clip, and this is of Bob Fletcher and Capital having an interaction. And it does say Bob did tell Capital to email him directly, and he would delegate that. So this is from Minnesota News Now, Jason's channel. The link is in the description as well, though it is Stephen talking with Bob. So I'll let you take a look at it, a second of that right now.
What? I just want to know why I'm untrustworthy, man. That one bothered me. Why do you think I'm untrustworthy?
Which one of you?
Either one of us. Why do you think either one of us are untrustworthy?
Did I say untrustworthy or did I say you weren't kind?
You
Both.
said you were talking to Jim and you told him not to trust us.
Yeah, that's different than being trustworthy.
Oh,
You really want to have this conversation?
I want to know why you think I'm not trustworthy.
Well, watch your own videos and what you say about some of our deputies, and you know why we don't think that you can be trusted. That's different than being trustworthy. All right? Some of them.
Your undersheriffs don't like to email me back either, or Jim Moody. They don't email me back.
He spends a lot of time talking to you.
No, he
No,
talks
he
to
doesn't.
me.
Well, I don't know which one. He spent a lot of time.
No, I think emails are pretty. You know, you guys can look at them and get back whenever you feel like, right? So kind of ignoring them doesn't seem very transparent, right?
I'm not even aware of the emails, but anyhow, what's the point of the emails?
You could probably ask Tina. Isn't she like somebody you contact all the time? What the point of those are?
Why does Tina have an obligation to return your email?
Doesn't she work for the taxpayers?
Yeah, but what issue do you want?
Doesn't she work for the taxpayers? It doesn't matter what the issue is,
Well,
right?
sure it does. She doesn't have any obligation to return your email unless it's a function that she's in charge of. So what's
Right,
the,
yeah, so she
what's
is
the
in charge
question?
of that.
What's the question? What question do you want Tina to answer?
Responsible authority for Chapter 13,
We do.
right?
It's me.
You are the responsible,
I'm the
so you're the
responsible
expert on the Chapter
authority.
13 stuff?
Pardon me?
So how do I get into contact with you
got
on the...
my emails. Send it to me.
So is your email, can I get your email address?
Yeah, Bob.Fletcher. You got it. You already hit it up. You already hit me with it.
Oh, so you didn't respond back to me either. You must be a busy man.
It was only 2 days. I don't have a responsibility to respond in 2 days.
Oh, you just don't have a responsibility to the people then.
I don't think I said that. I said I don't have a responsibility to respond to you in 2 days.
Okay. So what do you feel your responsibility to respond to the people is then? So if they hand you Twinkies or something, then you're going to respond to them quicker?
All of this assumes that you represent the people. You represent yourself, and you're one person, right? So I have an obligation to respond to you in a timely fashion, right?
And it's just kind of like the interview thing. So a timely fashion, you told me back then, was, you know, after the
Well,
fair.
here's the deal. If you keep using derogatory words to define our deputies, you're not going to get an interview.
So
Because I'm not
what particular derogatory term did I use?
Well, you go back and take a look at your own videos you produced.
So when one of your deputies gets in my face about something that I'm doing that is a lawful activity,
Right?
and puts tape up for no reason, you think that's okay?
If he puts tape up, you should stay outside of it. Yeah.
I did stay outside of it. I had no problem with that.
So
So what derogatory term did I use? I called him a jerk? Is that what you're referencing?
well, you
The
go back
jerk?
and take a look.
The
Go
jerk?
back and take a look at your work. Okay, your work doesn't fit our standard.
Oh, you have
We
standards.
do.
You have standards for free speech.
We have standard for people that we're going to give interviews for, and yours doesn't fit it.
You have
Your partner's,
standards
on
for
the
free
other hand,
speech.
does. Your partner is a totally nicer person than you.
Well, I mean that's
Totally
pretty
nice
subjective,
guy.
isn't it?
You're lucky to have him hanging with you.
It's pretty subjective, isn't it?
Yeah, it is totally subjective.
Did
That's
you?
the beauty-
because
that's
my-
the beauty about life. I can make
Ah.
it subjective because you pulled up on me.
Okay. I want a response from people, and I want to know.
What do you want
So,
to know?
so how am I going to get into contact with the responsible authority for Chapter 13? Because I'm gonna have a lot of public data requests come in.
And you're
So
gonna
they're
get
all going to go
answers
through
all.
you,
You're going to send them all to me.
and you know there's quite a bit of
I know the
statues
data
in there.
practices law inside now.
I don't believe you for some reason.
Well, trust me, I do.
You believe yourself?
When I was at St. Paul, I was a data practices person when I was in charge of records.
Because
Send me
I've
your
requested like your guys' policy manual from you before, and it took months for me to get that from you know the proper channels and quote. So that's why I'd like to go right through the source of Chapter
I'm the
13.
guy. You send me
All right.
whatever request you want, and I'm going to delegate that to
Okay.
Chief Deputy.
So when I
So I sent a generic request to Ramsey County specifically for the policies. In less than 24 hours, a person got back to me with the current policy, and then they said that they would look into the past 10 years. Then I specified that I really wanted the sheriff's policy on Chapter 13. And so and I asked if that was included, and they said that they would get back to me. They didn't get back to me, but I found the data I wanted. So then I did a data request with the sheriff's office, and Tim Picha, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, I'm sorry, Picha, is the person in charge of that data. And he got back to me within 30 minutes, and here's the email. So you can see I obtained that data. I obtained it quickly, efficiently. It didn't take much of my time. I don't plan on doing anything with the data. I didn't even open it. I didn't even read it. I just forwarded it on to Capital's email address. He emailed me this morning or last night to ask if he could use that in a video. And I said, sure, you can use that in a video as long as you give me credit. And he said, nope, I won't be doing that. So I'm making my own video and showing, my point was it's so easy to get this data. Don't email Bob Fletcher. You're going to get nothing if you email Bob Fletcher. But I do think that there is some prejudice involved because Bob Fletcher and Stephen do not get along. And there is no longer any mutual respect between the two of them over this deputy, Alexander Graham, no relation to Alexander Graham Bell. And this deputy is a massive douchebag, and I will put the link to a news story in the description. And he's had several run-ins with Stephen, and so because of Stephen saying unkind things about Alex, that Bob no longer respects Stephen. And he will refuse to give him an interview and said that there's no way that Stephen could ever get a ride along. So here we are. I've proven my point. Stephen and I had civil discourse, which is a miracle. In the future, Stephen also sent me some data about police officers that have had their license revoked. And I took a look at that and then looked at the last 5 years, because all of my research on sexual misconduct is going back to 2017. I'm not looking at anything older than that. So there were, I think, 9 officers who lost their license due to child pornography, sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, in that category of things. And I looked up all 9 of those officers, and I would not have come across many of those cases since I'm limiting my research to Hennepin and Ramsey County. And several of them were in other counties. But the thing is that I couldn't find some of the cases. So I'm going to look into that to see if they were criminally charged. And if they weren't criminally charged, why weren't they criminally charged? So in the future, I will be doing that research. And so Capital did provide me with some good information, gave me additional information on this sheriff's deputy, Action Alex Graham, who is a major douchebag. And so it did open my eyes to some things. But as I realized, as Stephen and I emailed back and forth, he was more interested in how the data is obtained than the actual data. So my interest in sexual crimes is always in what the data says. So I'm moving in 32 days, and I start school in 4 weeks in 25 something days I start school. So I should be pretty busy because I should be doing more packing and less time at the computer. Packing and organizing the move. But then when school starts and I move, it'll just be crazy. So you will see me back around then unless I have something that's pressing of information or research that I have that is worth sharing. So thank you.
I will continue to defend the First Amendment. That's my right to bully people without being bullied in return.
Go through life, just be nice to people.
I'm very nice to people that are nice to me.
That's not your reputation. Just be nice to people. Just be kind. Just assume good intent. All right?
Well, I assume bad intent when people don't respond to me.
Else? I've told my deputies to treat you with kindness too.
Doesn't seem like it.
Well, I've told them all that.
Doesn't seem like it.
You've earned your own reputation, okay? It's not me that's earned it, it's you.
You've earned your own reputation.
I have. And I'm willing to live with my reputation.